Hello you guys, it's Grace, and today I'm doing a book talk. It's been a while since I did a book talk on this channel, so I'm excited to get started. Today's book talk is on Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children series. So I didn't have time to do them each individually as I finished reading them, so I am kind of just doing them all in one video, and I'm also going to briefly talk about the movie. So it should be an interesting video. I think I explained it in my book talk, but just in case you haven't seen my book talk, I'm just going to briefly explain why I started to read them. So I've been meaning to read this series for months, like a really long time, and then I just kept putting it off, and I didn't get around to it, and blah 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 blah. And then once the movie came out, I was like, okay, Grace, you need to get your stuff together and you need to read this series. So the day before I went to watch the movie with a friend of mine, I decided to sit down and read Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. So I did. I read the whole book in like 24 hours and it was amazing. I gave all three of the books in this series 5 out of 5 stars and I was very impressed with them. I personally liked the books better than I liked the movie so far, like this movie series. The first movie, I mean, it was great. I loved it. But I just like how the book expanded on things and the movie missed quite a few things. And I understand why movies have to do that. Like, obviously, you can't make a movie like 4 hours long and keep all those little things in. But there were definitely quite a few things that were changed from the book to the movie. So I'm going to just briefly talk about first the first book compared to the movie. So this is the first book, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. It is so good, and I love these books. Like, they're just nice to hold. Does anyone else have that where they just kind of like hold a book and they're just impressed by how it feels when they hold it? I have that feeling a lot. So anyway, I'm going to show you the this one's red, and it's very pretty. I love the books without their dust jackets on as well. But anyway, this book was amazing, and I'm going to do my best to explain, like, briefly what the series is about. Basically, the series is about a boy, and his name is Jacob, and as a child, his grandfather always told him all these crazy stories about how he lived in this place with all of these children with all these peculiar talents, and like Jacob just grew up on these stories and eventually stopped believing them. But one day his grandfather is killed or dies. He's killed. So anyway, Jacob, like, in his dying breaths, his grandfather tells him these mysterious things, and Jacob's like, oh my gosh, what the heck? And he's like stuck on these ideas and he can't get these ideas out of his head, so he decides to go find these people because he figures there must at least be this headmistress that he can talk to, and she might be dead, but like one of them's bound to be alive still. So he goes to this island with his father because his father takes him there because they think Jacob's just going insane. They think he's stressed out because of his grandfather dying, so they just want him to be fixed and be better. So they take him to this island, and Jacob goes off on his own and goes and explores this island and ends up finding the house. But yeah, I'm not going to tell you exactly what happens because I want you to read this book. So yeah, there was that. That's basically what the book is about. He ends up meeting these peculiar children, and lots of things happen. So if you haven't read this yet, or seen the movies, or both, I would highly suggest leaving the video right now and coming back and watching it after you've read the series, because the rest of this is going to have spoilers. So yeah, here's your chance. Go. The rest of it's going to have spoilers. So don't listen to them. Alright. So, you should only be here if you have read this. When he goes to that house and he finds that the house was bombed like long ago, I was like kind of waiting for the action to like get there because up to this point in the book, I was kind of like, well, this book is good. I like how it's written, but like, when is something gonna happen? So after he finally meets them, I was like, oh my gosh, who are these people? And I was really like uncertain, like, what is going on here? What is he going to do? And I just immediately fell in love with all of the characters, even though I was a little uncertain on like, are these people gonna like kill him or something? Like, I was just expecting something bad to happen to Jacob, but from like the very first moment when Ransom Riggs was explaining all these characters, I kind of just fell in love with them, and I was just like, you guys are amazing. But one thing that really annoyed me in the movie is Olive in the movie is the girl who floats. Wait, no. Emma floats in the movie, and Olive does the fire stuff in the movie. Which, in the book, Emma is the fire person, and she's the one that Jacob is with, and Olive floats, and I was just kind of like, oh my goodness, why would they change such a big thing about that? And then also in the movie, they made part of Emma's peculiarity, like, not only she could float, but she also could control air or something. It's like, what? I was astonished with that, because that's like, you're making a character completely different. Like, that's just, I don't know. But I did like the characterization for the most part. In the book, or in the movie, I liked how they did the characterization. Like, Miss Peregrine, she was amazing. I liked the actress she was played by. I thought it portrayed her quite well. And then Enoch, I liked him too, because like, he was so sassy and just like grumpy, and I liked how they portrayed him as well. The other thing that was really different in the movie compared to the book was the ending. The ending of this first book, movie, whatever, the movie was super different, because like, Jacob decided he didn't want to be with them, and then he ended up finding this big old ship, and then they went back, and just, that was a really bad explanation, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, the ending was completely different in between the book and the movie. So that just was mind-blowing. And like, he went back, and his grandfather was alive in the movie. Like, he didn't die, or he did die, but like, then they went back and like the whole loop thing, and he got to see his grandfather again, and his grandfather gave him money, and then he was traveling around the world, like, trying to find Emma and everyone else again, and I was just like, my mind is blown. Okay, so that's basically all I'm going to talk about in this first book. And then the rest I'm going to talk briefly about, so this video doesn't get to be super long. The second book is Hollow City. I loved Addison. I think this is the book you meet Addison. But he's funny. And he's pretty great. There's what this book looks like. It's blue and says Perplexus Animalis, or however you pronounce that. So this one was really good as well. Jacob's talents are kind of like evolving in this one, and he's starting to be able to do more and more, and you meet a whole bunch of new characters like Addison, and you get to learn more about like that like the different time periods and stuff. So that was really interesting to me. Usually the second books in series are really annoying to me and I don't like them, but I did like this second book in the series, and I flew through it just like I did the other two books. So I was impressed. I was very impressed with this book and very happy. And then the third book is Library of Souls, of course. This book is like 450 some pages. Or yeah, something like that. And it also went super fast. Like, I finished this book in not very much time, and I just really liked it. We got to see more like of the White's hideout and stuff, and I was like really amazed by that. I was like, this is pretty cool. like, just how they explained everything. I thought it was amazing. I give Ransom Riggs props for that. Like, in every single one of these books, he was, like, super descriptive, and I was like, I could actually picture that in my head. And when I went to see the movie, like, I wasn't even that surprised by, like, how it looked, because in a lot of the scenes, he described it so well that that's kind of what I expected already. So this one was great. You got to meet Miss Peregrine's siblings finally, so that's great. I just loved it. The whole series was just phenomenal, and I can't wait for the next 2 movies to come out. Like, even though I liked the books better, like, the movies, like, they were just great. Alright, that enough said. And this book, I was like terrified at the end. I thought that Jacob was gonna go live with his parents, or he'd get stuck in that asylum, and then he'd, like, grow old, and then it would end with them being like, and he never did see Emma again, but he never stopped thinking about her, or something ridiculous like that, and I was gonna cry. But they ended up coming and rescuing him, so yeah, I was very worried. I was reading, like, the last 50 pages, and I was like, if this doesn't end with them all happily together, I'm gonna be very mad. But it ended, like, great. I loved the ending of this book. Alright, I'm gonna stop blabbing on about the books now. I'm sorry my phone rang quite a few times during this video. I hope it was okay and you were able to ignore that. But we've been getting so many telemarketer calls, like, for the election and stuff, and I'm just like, no, go away. I do not want to talk to you guys. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more book talks from me, please like this video. Comment below if you've read these books and which of the 3 was your favorite. I would have to say my favorite was probably the 3rd one. I really liked Library of Souls. Also, subscribe to my channel so you never miss another video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!